All right, well, just obviously disappointed to come out and talk about being sitting here being 2-1. That's not what we envisioned. That's not our standard. But there are a lot of positives that came out of last Saturday, and we've got to build on those. There was definitely, if you would have told me coming into this game, coming into the fourth quarter, that you would be down by 6 and you've only punted twice, would you have taken it? And knowing the talent level and the skill set and the amount of returning starters that they had coming back, I knew we would be in a great situation to win a game at that point, and we were. We didn't execute on about 4 or 5 plays, and we knew coming into a game like this that it comes down to 4 or 5 plays that they make or you make, and it usually turns into the outcome of a game. I would have liked to seen what the late in the fourth quarter would look like had we eliminated a few things. To me, there was really four critical moments in that game. One was the 97-yard drive. We punt to them and do a great job of pinning inside, or land the ball on the 3, kill it. And instead of letting them drive the length of the field, I think they went 4 or 5 plays, and then we had a bust off of a pressure. We should have had a defensive end dropping out into the flats, and it didn't happen. He didn't get out there. He got up underneath a drag route that was coming behind him, and he left one of their obviously their speed burners open on our sidelines, and when he caught the ball, that was it. I mean, we had angles on the guy and still couldn't catch him. I thought that was that one hurt because you had them right where you wanted them. You had the lead. You had them. They had to go 97. I think it was 5 minutes, 5:30 something to go somewhere in there when they got the ball till halftime. And to give that up was a killer. But yet, you get the ball back, you drive down, you come away with points, you kick a field goal. And as our plan was coming into the game, the other key moment here, second key moment, I thought, we were not going to kick the ball to 25. That was our plan. In his career, he's got a 34, 35-yard return average. He's a fantastic player. He's electric with the ball in his hand. We were not going to kick to 25. And Josh had done a great job of placing his kicks away from 25 and doing some things to keep the ball out of his hands. And for whatever reason, we talked about it, and he mishit it, and he kicked it to 25. And he had a decent return, which set up the next play, which was a handoff that went for 23. We were in position to make a play. We were in position to make a tackle. Our best athlete, one of our best athletes, Elijah McQueen, is matched up, 2-yard gain. All we got to do is make the tackle. And the guy makes a miss, goes for 23 with 3 seconds on the clock. And, again, if I had it to do over again, I would have squib kicked it. I would have tried to at least kick the ball out of the back of the end zone. We had the wind to our back. Shoulda, coulda. There's a couple of different things right there I wish we could have done different. But still, we got to be able to execute. We practiced the last second plays. That's one thing we like to build our program on is situational football. And we've done more situations and working the last second plays and what to do if it's this situation and what to do if it's that situation. We had a last second play to where, to defend, we would bring Cortland Sutton in. I made the decision not to bring Cortland Sutton in at that point. We were coming off of a timeout, and just felt like we had the right call. It was our what we call dime victory, and you got to execute. And what's supposed to have happened there didn't happen. And even though we've repped it over and over, obviously when you should have repped it one more time, I guess that's on me as a head coach to get fixed. But what you do in a situation like that is you pick them up right around the 10 or 15 yard line, and everybody has a man. You have your own designated jumper, and you box out. It's literally like a basketball. You literally box out, get a body on a body, and don't care where the ball is. You get your head down, and you get your tail on them, and you box out. You get your arms back. And we had one guy doing it, and we had 5 others that were watching the ball. And Jordan White, our jumper, Jordan got caught behind the defender and was unable to jump, and they jumped, and we didn't. And they made a play. But with all that being said, obviously, you know, the mode at halftime was different. You know, trying to get the guys, which I think we got them back up. And you know, adversity happens. You move on to the next play. But to be able to go up at half 22-21 would have been huge. From just the overall adjustments that could be made, some of the time that you could have spent on doing some different things outside of having to, hey, refocus in on that moment again. But still, with all that being said, we kick off to them, and they take the opening drive the second half down and score. And so those 4 of those moments right there, the drive, the 97-yard drive, and just a missed kick, the Hail Mary, and the opening drive of the second half, you know, but we're still okay. We're still okay because you know, the score is 35-22, and there's 7:22 left in the third quarter, and we've got the ball on our own on the plus 23-yard line going in to score, and we came away with no points. And you know, those are the times right there that, you know, you got to come out with some type of points. You got to be in tune. You got to come out with something. And in games like this, field goals don't matter. I mean, field goals matter, but you need touchdowns, especially against a quality of a defense that they have. You need touchdowns. And we had 3. We won the turnover margin 3-2. But we on the points off turnovers, we score 6. They score 7 off of our pick 6. So, but with all that being said, you're down by 6 going into the fourth quarter, and you got them third down. And you're in great shape. Our kids are fighting their tail off, and we get misaligned, and they crease one on us and on a run, and you know, at that point, and you know, you're playing catch up. And I thought our guys never quit. I thought the effort that they played with was phenomenal. But we had a really good plan going in offensively, and but I would have liked to see what late in the fourth quarter would have looked like. Because you know, we were playing toe to toe and doing some really good things there. But you know, one of our goals is when you get in the red zone, you got to score touchdowns. We were 1 of 4 on scoring touchdowns. The rest we had field goals. And so you can't settle for field goals. But you know, I thought we matched their punch, and but we just couldn't withstand some of the key moments that just kind of that added up, especially late in the game. But I did think that we had some guys. They had a great plan to stop Cortland Sutton, and you know, we knew that going in. We knew that they were going to double Cortland. We knew they were probably going to play under and over the top of him, or always going to have 2 guys on him. Coach Patterson's been around this a long time. He knows, and simply being, hey, look, Cortland Sutton, you may beat us, but Cortland Sutton ain't going to be the one beating us. We don't know if you can consistently run the football against our front, and so it's going to take Ben Hicks and the rest of your wide receivers, and you're going to have to knock us off the ball to beat us. And we put up quite a few points. I thought we could have scored. You know, I thought we could have got into the 50s, but we were unable to do that. And that's football. It's why you go play the game. But I thought defensively, again, we created turnovers. We had 3. But we couldn't. We only generated 6 points out of it. I did not think we tackled well in space. That was a concern. Coming in, we've shown to be really a good tackling football team, but a lot of that had to do with TCU. They're very talented, and I got to give them credit. I thought that they definitely did some things to try to create some mismatches, but that's football. That's coaching, and we've got to be able to adjust and adapt to that. Solve problems as the day goes. We've got to be better on third down defensively. We were 62%. We never got off the field. And matter of fact, on the opening drive of the second half, the only third down play that they had was 3rd and goal on the 4. And we have a guy right in the hole, and we missed the tackle. And again, that's credit for those guys. We were in position. But we did do some really good things, and that'll continue to build on this program, and we'll continue to get better. We got to continue to come out and play with the energy level this week that we did the last 3 weeks. It's all about how we respond as a football team and a program moving forward. I referenced this Sunday at practice, that 2 years ago we went over to TCU and played well, only to come back here and get beat by James Madison right here on the last second play. And at that point we never could get out of a tailspin. We went 2-10 that year. And so we've got to make sure that doesn't happen. I know this is a completely different football team, but that's going to be my message to them all week long is, can we match, can we sustain the energy that we've played with? Does your investments over your 1,656 hours of training, did it really count, or did it just count in just a few games, and when adversity hits you, you shut it down? And that's not who we are. That's not what these guys are about. I'm extremely excited to get back out on the field this week, today being first day of practice. Get back out there with those guys. We had a really good day Sunday, but we got to put a great plan together. We got a very tough opponent, Arkansas State, coming in here, that are going to give us everything that we want. They've only played 2 games. They played Arkansas Pine Bluff last week and Nebraska the first week, and had Nebraska on the ropes. Actually had the ball in their hand inside the 10-yard line with 9 seconds to go, and to tie the game up, and just didn't get it done right there. But it'll be Blake Anderson does a phenomenal job, and has. I've known him for quite some time. And one of the bright minds in all of college football. He was at North Carolina when we were at Clemson, and they've got their defensive coordinator, Joe Coffin, is very well respected in this business. Middle Tennessee State, that's where he's spent some time there. He's been at Arkansas State for a while. But they've got the Sun Belt Player of the Year, defensive end, Javon Roland Jones, a redshirt senior. He's 6'2", about 250, and definitely stands out when you turn the video on. This guy can definitely play. They've got 2 linebackers that I think are as good as anybody we've played to this point. Both of them are all conference selections. Justin Clifton, which has got elite speed, as well as Kyle Wilson. I'm very impressed with these guys. Are always around the ball, and usually when they're around it, something good's happening for them defensively. And so we've got our work cut out for us, blocking these guys. Our DBs, Blaze Taylor, obviously a coach's kid. It's an all-conference returner, and just a very heads-up player, savvy player, plays corner, and involved in all their return game. Got great respect for them. But strength of their defense, in my opinion, is their D-line. And linebackers, obviously they're very good on the back end, but they're having to replace a lot of guys. Got a lot of experience coming from up front. Offensively, Justin Hansen, quarterback, started his career at Oklahoma. Signed with them coming out of high school, and went to Butler Junior College, and then transferred over to Arkansas State. He's done a really good job for him. He's really accurate. That's one thing when you watch film of this guy. He's accurate. He's big, 6'4", 220. He's accurate. Throws a really good ball, and he's got some dynamic playmakers around him. Warren Wan, a running back, was an all-conference selection last year. Blake Mack, big 6'3", 230-pound tight end, which is impressive. He was also all-conference, but I think some of the strength of their team is their wide receiver cores. Christian Booker, 11 catches last week, 148 yards, and they got Chris Murray, which is another dynamic one. They've got another wide receiver on that, Pascal, McGinnis. They've got a core of wide receivers that are really, really good. 48% on third downs. And they're going to put the ball in the air. That's what they do. They're going to try to create mismatches and challenge our secondary. So, but again, as it is every week, this is about the SMU Mustangs, and it's about getting better. It's about taking one day at a time and focus on the moment and improving off the adversity that we were hit with last week. And I think you'll see that this week with our young men. They'll be ready to go, and I'm excited to be back out there and be around them. So we've got to do a really good job of defending Ford Stadium. We only get 7 opportunities a year to play here at home, and That's something we talk about all the time, is defend your home field. We got an opportunity to do that this Saturday night, so we need everybody out there to help us defend our home field and move forward, because this is definitely a team that's won the conference, the Sun Belt Conference, and they're going to be they'll be ready for us. They signed 9 junior college offensive linemen in the winter, and so their O-line is very experienced. So again, with that, I'll open it for questions.
You've talked a lot about the Hail Mary and how it affected the team going into the locker room. With so many young players in your secondary who are directly involved in that play, how do you make sure that that doesn't carry on into the season and affect their confidence moving forward?
Well, you bounce back. That's what you do. You just bounce back, and they saw it. It's not that was something that the first time they saw. I've seen it numerous times, and then you understand that, hey, you know what? This is going to happen to you. You're going to have adversity in life, and you can either stay down or you can get back up. And we've built this program over 33 months of getting back up. But when you watch those young men, and yeah, it was disappointing. It was disappointing at halftime. I would have loved to walk in there at halftime up 22-21, and just to see the different feel in that locker room. There's no doubt that the momentum shifted at that point, and you saw the momentum starting to shift off the 97-yard drive. But when they caught the Hail Mary, that was obviously a huge part of it. That really, we spent a lot of our time in there going, hey, look, we train for moments like this to overcome adversity. This is one that we're going to have to overcome. And I thought for the most part, our kids did overcome that. Even though we gave up the opening drive of the second half, we're still in it. Nobody quit playing, and it's still a lot of football left to play, and you still do all those things that we talked about, and you're still down by 6 going into the fourth quarter. It says so much about our players. But yeah, moving forward, you got to continue to rep this. This is going to be a huge focal point. It wasn't just the Hail Mary. I mean, it was some different things that we did that we've got to correct. It's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. When you deal with a lot of young players, difficult things happen, but that's why they have coaches. That's why we're out there. And so we've got to get those things fixed.
So this game this week is kind of in a tough spot in the schedule where it's right after 2 crosstown rivalry games and right before conference play starts. As a coach, do you worry about this being a potential trap game for your guys, just kind of being caught in between?
Well, I would sure hope not. I mean, I would hope that our guys would understand that, the opportunities that we had last week, the plays that we didn't make, that they made, would motivate our guys to get back up. I would hope that our prior experience, that the storms that we've gone through in the past building this culture will withstand this week. We'll understand that, look, we got to play with great energy. We know what playing well and not having great energy looks like the next week. And that outcome is not what we want. It's all about our response. Adam, that's it. It's 100% on us as coaches to get each one of our units to play at our standard and play and create our own energy. Great teams create their own energy, and I've talked to Coach Brown about this before, and one of the things that he told me, especially this was back in year 1, he said 3 or 4 games a year you're not gonna have to worry about the energy level of your players. They're going to get up. Usually it's first game, it's a rival somewhere in there, but it's this other 7 or 8 that you're going to have to be sound and solid in all phases of your game, and you're going to have to play your tail off. And this one of them this week, we're going to have to be sound, we're going to have to create our own energy, and we're going to have to understand that last week's behind us, and if we want to get to where we want to get to in this program, things are going to happen. How do we respond? And that's really the only thing that matters now.
You said last week that you thought Christian Davis might be available to play. He had very limited snaps against TCU. How is he doing, and do you expect?
Yeah, Christian had 1 snap actually.
Yeah.
1 snap, and he just couldn't push off his ankle just yet. So we'll see. He ran a little bit Sunday night. We hope to have him back this week. We'll see on that.
miss a game. What
Yeah.
was his injury and what
Yeah,
was his status?
he'll be fine. I think he tweaked his knee, but he's okay. He worked out Sunday. He's off the injury report, and he's good to go. So I don't know the status of DJ Gillens or anything like that at this point, but yeah, we'll find all those things out.
Trey Quinn had another really strong game,
Yeah.
7 catches, 116 yards, leads you in both categories so far this season. What did you see from him during his redshirt season, and how has that carried over into his first 3 games?
I think you look at Trey Quinn back when we were recruiting out of high school. We knew he was a phenomenal player, and we knew that he's definitely a fierce competitor. Trey was our offensive player of the game. He was also the special teams player of the game. I think he brings such a competitive fight to this football team. You know, all our guys were disappointed after that ball game. There wasn't anybody who was disappointed or more disappointed than Trey Quinn. He was literally the last one out of the locker room, and just, you know, again, that's and you walk in there and you see that on our kid's face, and you know that, okay, it means something to him. I knew it meant something to Trey. I also knew it meant something to every one of those guys in that room. But when you see the hurt in their face, you know that the investment has been there. So, which kind of carries us forward to this week, and you hope to see that, you know, carry on as far as how they prepare, how we play, the energy level we bring this week. And so, but we knew Trey's a phenomenal player. He's got a great career ahead of him, but he's the beneficiary of someone trying to double court. That's you know, that's the way it goes. We got to continue to get our run game going more to help us out in those areas as well, because this won't be the last time people try to double Cortland, and that's okay. But we got to be able to be efficient in other areas as well.
Where do you see like the next step for the run game to move on?
Well, just continue to just be consistent in what we're doing. Again, TCU has a lot to do with that too now. They're really good. They had nine defensive starters and 8 offensive starters coming back, and so, you know, we knew that, and that's just, we got to be consistent. We ran the ball at times, but there are other times that one of our goals, and Coach Craddock will talk about it, is to try to be more consistent and efficient on first down, and we were in some areas, but in some of the areas that we didn't score when we got in the red zone, we weren't. And so those are things that we just got to continue to focus on. But that's part of building this program and building throughout the course of the year to get better every week. So.
You mentioned that Trey benefited from the coverage on Cortland. Another beneficiary was James. He had a pretty quiet first couple of weeks. Really big week last week. 3 catches, I think 93 yards. Where are you seeing his development now in his sophomore season?
Well, just his maturity level. You know, he's an experienced guy. He's coming back off of a good year last year, and I think he benefits from the work ethic of Trey Quinn. He benefits from the consistency that Trey brings every day to practice. I think they make each other better. I know Trey makes him better, just the way he does things, and just his approach to everyday life. And as they prepare to practice, prepare in a game, and so, you know, we've said that for quite some time. You know, Trey makes a lot of people better because of his approach, the way he does things. Myron is another one that makes people better because of his approach. He's a phenomenal player. It's just he has to work for everything he gets. And so, again, we got a really good wide receiver room. And I've said that all season long. I think this is as good a group as there are in the country, and they play well together. But they got to continue to keep feeding off each other and encouraging each other, because, you know, this week it may be somebody else. Next week it could be someone else. It's not always going to be the same guy as it maybe has been in the past. Anybody else?
I feel like the offensive line play gives them a talent TCU for.
Yeah, you know, I thought that was one of the things that we talked about as a staff. I thought that they played better. I thought they played better this week than they did against North Texas. We're still working on the rotation on the right side of our line. But you know, I think Ben's, while it says we gave up 1 sack, it was actually a quarterback run. So in the books, it'll go down as a sack, but it wasn't. They didn't give up the sack, but they did Ben got hit too much. And those are some things that we got to get better at. But I thought that they got better. Still got a long way to go, but they're progressing. I think from just getting the right side of our offensive line rotation down. Will Hopkins obviously is going to definitely be a help for us in there. And just getting the consistency there and getting those guys to work together. I think center, left guard, left tackle were really solid on that side, but still working on doing some things on the right side.